Presenting our national officials for this match. First referee, Mr. Angelo Howe. Second referee, Mr. Fernando Velarde. Let's call on our starting lineup from our D'Navigators Iloilo. Let's begin with our team captain. He wears jersey number 6, John Michael Apolinario. At number 2, Kyle Angelo Villamor. Wearing jersey number 5, Dean Neil De Pedro. At number 9, Giles Jeffer Torres. Number 13 is Mafena Guaza. And number 18, Madzian Gampong. Starting libero is number 15, Vince Lorenzo. And head coach is Rizalito, Coach Boyet Del Moro. Presenting our Kinto Tyres, University of Perpetual Help System Delta Altas. Team captain wear jersey number 14, Louis Ramirez. At number 1, Clint Mateo. Wearing jersey number 2, Jefferson Marapok. Number 5, Michael Medalla. Number 11, John Christopher Inarciso. And number 21, Casey Andrade. Starting libero is number 18, John Philip Pepito. And head coach, Mr. Sinfronio, Coach Sammy Akailar. This is match number 25, preliminary round in Pool A. Spikers Turf Season 6.
Well, those are your
the
starting lineups
Invitational
coming up here for the University of Perpetual Help System Delta and the D'Navigators Iloilo. Two teams all tied up at 1-1 in their group. A win here, obviously very important to make sure that they have a chance to make it into the next round. And you take a look at the matchup here today, and I can't help but realize that we have two blockers here in the top 5 of the individual categories. Let's see whether or not net defense will prove to be a big factor here. Once again, thank you very much for joining us here on Spikers Turf. Ako po si Paulo Del Rosario, joined by Panang Decona Schwarter. It is Ayana Perlas patrolling the sidelines for us here today. Thank you very much for joining us on Pilipinas Live. I spoke about the net defense a while ago. We talked about how these two teams need to find a way to win convincingly. It's set to be something that we feel that when two opposite forces come together, a collision, an explosion could happen here today.
That's right. And itong D'Navigators Iloilo, they have a lot of veterans in their lineup going against this young squad of the University of Perpetual Help. And not to mention also, one of the best setters, previous best setter awardee, ito si JM Apolinario, the setter of D'Navigators Iloilo. So this will be a very interesting match.
And of course, on one end, as D'Navigator Iloilo gets on the board first, itong University Perpetual Help System Delta have Luis Ramirez, so we're going to watch out for the entire game. But as we're talking about Ramirez, itong si Medalla gets the first point here for Perpetual.
That was a very nice running attack. Talagang iniwas niya sa kanyang blocker, kaya naman mahirapan na dumepensa dito ang D'Navigators. A good start for both squad.
Again, both of them actually had a good bounce backs after their first game, so they want to keep things going here, talking about these two teams. As right now, just exchanging points here in the early stages of this matchup between these two teams.
Yes, of course, that's Mads Gampong and the open attack, but you have to give credit to the good first ball.
Right now, 2-1 in favor of D'Navigators Iloilo.
Oh!
And Mateo tying things up once more.
We're seeing a lot of combination plays at the early start of this set. So alam na natin, itong Perpetual, gusto nilang ma-confuse yung blockers and defense pattern itong D'Navigators Iloilo.
A very young team, itong University of Perpetual Help System Delta. Only 3 players were born in the 90s.
Oh,
that's not going to say anything else beyond that, as D'Navigators find a way to increase their lead again once more. On the service line here, itong si GJ Torres.
Over ball.
And had to bounce quickly, making sure that they can get offense from the net as well.
That's right. And over ball na. De Pedro was there. Good anticipation on that. And sending that ball to zone 1. Easy point for the Navigators Iloilo. They're up by 2 points so far.
Napaka-imposing yung front line ni Michael Medalla and ni Nasquaza here para sa D'Navigators Iloilo. Looking for Ramirez. Ramirez had to be a bit inventive. Apolinario with the setup. Quaza couldn't score there. Perpetual still trying to find ways here. Good rally here between Perpetual and D'Navigators. But then that one sent a bit long, but it looks like there may have been a check, a touch ball. Humihingi ng challenge yung D'Navigators, and they will have that in. So they're going to have a block touch challenge here, the first one of the game, very early on. And based on what we've seen here so far, this could be a tight game. Every point could be important here.
Well, definitely. And you've seen the floor defense of both squads. And not just that, also the net defense. So everyone was really moving fast and very aggressive in saving the ball whenever they have a good defense. But talking about that previous sequence, yung first referee saw that there was a block touch called on De Pedro, but De Pedro was signaling to their coaches that there was none. So that's the reason why the coaches will use their first challenge for this set.
Well, you take a look at the fact that, let's see whether or not there's a block touch. And that missed by some distance, I think masasabi natin. So that is, we're going to wait for the official confirmation dito sa challenge system natin. Or maybe not even needed. So right now they are discussing things. So either way, the point will go to the University Perpetual Help System Delta as Mateo goes back to the service line. So our officials here in agreement, and we could resume normal play. Interesting to see where the points here are going to come for D'Navigators, considering that one of their top scorers is actually number 28 in our list in terms of yung skills ranking nila. So that is si Nas Guaza, their middle blocker. Louis Ramirez, of course, for University Perpetual Help System Delta, is number 9 sa rankings natin. So at least on paper, you can expect him to be able to rack up the points, as both teams here exchanging service errors early on.
Only a 1-point advantage here by the Navigators Iloilo. So parang both squads are just testing each other kung ano yung laro na pwede nila ipakita coming into this game.
Nangangapa pa as you
right.
take a look at these two, trying to find any sort of rhythm. And a service ace straight away here para sa Kinto Tyres Perpetual.
Of course, that is Louis Ramirez, who is actually the number 9 best server for this conference. Take a look at that. Soft serve right in the middle, donut hole of the Navigators Iloilo.
I like how you mentioned two desserts at the same time, soft serves and donuts. And that's another ace here for Ramirez. Maybe we need a third dessert there. Cheesecake? Probably. But Ramirez with 2 straight aces. Another look at that again.
Well, he's the number 9 best server, and overall, the University of Perpetual Help is actually the number 2 best serving team for this conference.
And I think we can all say that Louis Ramirez is a big part of that, but then almost immediately targeting Louis Ramirez at the back.
But now we're only tied at 6 points early on to this set. Now, De Pedro will serve.
Well, Toto De Pedro, who has already a couple points to his name. Apolinario with the setup.
Oh, good cover.
Who do they look for here? Ramirez from the back. Well, Ramirez has been doing it all here early for Perpetual. And we see Coach Sam Kailar, I'm sure, very happy with the talent he has in disposal here with Ramirez showing off. Service line here, Casey Andrade. Apolinario with the setup. Had to bend backwards to hit that one. And that time, the blocking finally coming to the fore here para sa D'Navigators.
That was the first kill block for this set, courtesy of their number 3 best blocker to Sempena Guaza. Good timing on that block. Kaya mahirap naman na i-cover yun dahil sakto sa spiker, bumalik yung bola.
Well, let's help each other out here. Empena yung legal name niya, pero Nas yung nickname niya. And that was Nas good as Guaza sends that straight into the net. But right now, first technical timeout, 8-7 in favor of Perpetual. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Spikers Turf 2023 Invitational Conference. Now, like what you mentioned, Paolo and Paneng, we all know Louie Ramirez's big impact to the Perpetual Altas. But in the words of head coach Sammy Akailar, we cannot depend on him. As the games go by, Louie will end up being predictable. And napansin din ni coach na kapag pangit ang laro ni Louie, naaapektuhan din ang buong team. And that is a big no-no. Now, for today's game, head coach Sammy created plays specifically to let other players shine and give them that confidence boost. And also, coach created plays which will test Louie's skills in different sides of the court para mawala ang pagka-predictable niya. Back to you, Paolo and Paneng.
Salamat, Ayana Perlas, as we take a look at what those plays might actually be here for Perpetual. You see, itong si Louie Ramirez, as we mentioned, can do it all, has done it all, but then over-reliance, I think, is what Coach Sammy is trying to fight off against here, trying to get everyone else activated. That's napaka-importante yan, Paneng.
Yes, definitely. This is a team sport, and that was a very good report by Ayala because tama naman na pag nabantayan na itong si Louie Ramirez, mahihirapan din yung buong squad na makakuha rin ng puntos. That's why it's very important for everyone to be activated when it comes to attacking. So everyone will be able to contribute points for the squad.
Net touch there against Perpetual. So let's see, of course, sino dito sa Perpetual will step up here today against a D'Navigators team that feels and understands that they could come out with a good result here as well. Again, both teams need to win decisively as Mateo is blocked. Itong net defense ng D'Navigators has been slowly rising here in this contest.
Yeah, courtesy of that kill block of GJ Torres. Perfect timing on the block and well read. Giving, oh no, almost a service ace there.
Just hitting the tape. Mateo couldn't get past. Ito naman ang Perpetual. They go back to Mateo. Apolinario with the setup. One end of the floor to the other. And the point will go D'Navigators' way. I believe there may be a challenge here. Challenging the block touch. It may have just hit the net. I think yan yung argument ng Perpetual. So we are going to go to the challenge system once more as D'Navigators hope that Perpetual did have a touch on that particular instance. Pero dito sa simula, we talked about how the blocking could be important here. Tong si Guaza against Ramirez, in particular, individually speaking, are one of the best blockers, some of the best blockers here sa Spikers Turf. But then, here early on, D'Navigators showing us that they are worthy of the fact that number 8 sila sa blocking very early on. So there is a block touch, so that one will go against Perpetual, and D'Navigators will take the lead here.
Now D'Navigators again is up by 2 points. A very close first set that we're seeing right now. But both squads are really working hard to get points and as much as possible, lumaki yung lamang nila sa kanilang opponents.
That time, the blocking does not work as Jeff Marupok gets a point here for Perpetual.
Yeah, coming off again from a combination play. So far, itong Iloilo, wala pa silang combination plays. But if you take a look at JM Apolinario, really activating all of his attackers, mapa-opposite man yan or open. But we're seeing a couple of combination plays naman on the side of Perpetual.
Well, the floor defense there for Perpetual, not quite ready. Sa palagay mo magiging issue ba na number 21 in terms of reception itong Perpetual?
Well, definitely, because whenever makakuha sila ng good first ball, dun sila nakakakuha ng set plays itong team ng Perpetual. But kahit na number 21 best receiver sila for this conference, we also have to take note that they are the number 2 best server naman, best serving team for the conference. So they really want to focus on that department para yung opponent nila mahirapan makakuha ng first ball, and it will be easier for them for the defense.
Budo Mateo with the last point there. Ito naman si Michael Medalla on the service line here for Perpetual. Tied up at rather 1-point lead for D'Navigators. Soft touch. Ramirez able to save it. They go back to Ramirez, and that time off the blockers. All tied up here as Perpetual and D'Navigators refusing to let each other go.
Parang 2 points lang yung malaking lamang ng both squads kanina, tapos nagkakaabot pa rin sa puntos.
Michael Medalla still on the service line para sa Perps. Apolinario with the setup again, going to the other side.
Good
That
set.
time, the net defense working here, slowing things down for Perpetual. They go to the other side. Mateo could not score. Another good rally here. Ramirez from the back couldn't end it. Apolinario. Wala pa rin, and we're still going. Who will blink first?
Oh, good save by De Pedro.
By hook or by crook, Ramirez couldn't end it. And the run goes on. And finally ends.
Grabe yung long rally na yun. Just to get there, 12 points, the Navigators, Iloilo. You have to give credit to that point, to the save of De Pedro. Dahil ang layo na ng libero nila to get that coverage. But naabot pa niya, one-handed save. And with that finish of Mads Gampong, you can see how exhausted itong Perpetual help coming off from that long rally.
This might turn into a battle of attrition here between these two. Who's more fit, who's ready both physically and mentally. And that time, it was D'Navigators who were ready. Nasguaza with a single block.
That was the third kill block for their squad for this set so far.
We mentioned a while ago, the biggest lead around the 2-point range. Chance for D'Navigators to go beyond that here.
High set.
That time off the blockers, Ramirez knew that he had to take over. Ano ko sabi ni Coach Sammy na they need to spread out yung scoring nila, but then sometimes you need a guy like Luis Ramirez to take over and create by himself and get the points on the board.
So far, lahat ng binabatong set sa kanya na kanilang setter, nako-convert niya into a point. But yun na nga, yung sinabi ni Coach Sammy Acarlar a while ago that everyone should also step up and help Luis Ramirez coming into this game.
At the net, just pushed forward there, and that time just a bit too short. D'Navigators restore a 2-point lead.
Medyo na late doon sa pwesto itong si Clint Mateo.
Mads Gampong on the service line para sa Iloilo. Hit the tape, pero buhay pa rin. And that time off the block, powerful hit there coming from their number 4, itong si Kobe Tabuga.
Nasguaza was a bit late for that cross-court block. Kaya naman nakita mo yung tama ng bola sa kanya pataas. Kaya naman hindi na nakuha yon ng kanilang libero na si Vince Lorenzo. Now Luis Ramirez into the service area.
Always a danger itong si Luis Ramirez from the service line. Apolinario with the setup again. That time just hit a bit too long. I believe trying to get a check ball, but unable to get that to fall. Pero i-challenge nila. Another block touch. The second challenge here for D'Navigators Iloilo in this contest. Already a third in the game overall. But at this point in time, I think masasabi natin that these two teams are very evenly matched. And buti na lang na Paneng is ready to stay here all afternoon.
This is going to be, like what we mentioned during the pregame, that definitely this is going to be an exciting match because this is a very important game for both squads. Pool A is a very interesting pool because there are 4 teams who are tied at 1 win and 1 loss. So, and there's only 2 teams na move on sa semifinals.
We mentioned that this could potentially be a longer matchup as we see the block touch or the absence of it. So Guaza trying to look for the check ball, will not get it. So an unsuccessful challenge here for D'Navigators Iloilo. 14 all is the tally as the Perpetual Help System Delta are set to try and score from the service line again, courtesy of Louis Ramirez, one of the more lethal servers here in the entire Spikers turf. That time, I believe, may have hit the antenna.
It did. Kaya may automatic point will go to the Navigators Iloilo.
Toto De Pedro on the service line here for D'Navigators. As I mentioned a while ago, this could turn into a battle of attrition, who's more fit, and we're still in set number 1 here. Net defense working here, and that time able to get that in between the blockers and the net. Itong si Jeff Marapo.
JM Apolinario is in the front row now, who's not that tall actually. Kaya nakita natin there are a lot of set plays on the left side or for the wing spikers of the Perpetual Help.
Who did they look for here? Get the attack from the back, and Mads Kampong sends us into our second technical timeout, 16-15 in favor of Iloilo. We'll be right back. Watch the PBA 3x3 second conference this year every Monday and Tuesday only on One Sports, PBA Rush and Pilipinas Live, PBA 3x3, Laro ng Tatlo. Welcome back. You're still watching the Spikers Turf 2023 Invitational Conference. D'Navigators Iloilo taking on the Kinto Tyres, University of Perpetual Help System Delta. And it is Perpetual trailing by 1. Itong si Toto De Pedro there on your screen has been making a difference here for D'Navigators, as well as Mads Kampong as well. Of course, itong si Naz Guaza has a couple of points courtesy of a few blocks as well. Let's see whether or not an ace is in his locker as well. Thank you very much for joining us. Paul De Rosario alongside Paneng de Coneshwarter. Diana Perlas on the sidelines for us. As this time the blocking of Perpetual really coming out to the fore here in this early part of the rally. And that time, Marapok able to angle that shot. Doesn't need a lot of power, but he ties it all up.
Open spikers of Perpetual Help is actually targeting zone 1 right now of the Navigators Iloilo.
Kobe Tabuga with that serve. The push changing in mid-air, pero Marapok was ready for it.
Back-to-back points by Marapok. That was a good timing on the block. Actually, ang hirap timing ano yun, lalo na pag coming off from a back row attack of your opponent.
Tabuga on the service line, you're absolutely right. Of course, both of them changed in mid-air.
Yeah, and their elevation din kasi and hang time.
Trying to keep it alive and cannot do so. That is outside the antenna. Now Perpetual with a 2-point lead. This is, it feels like their biggest lead here so far between these two. And a quick timeout on the floor, and we have the privilege to listen in.
Go, go, go. Akin yan, akin na. Makabutan ka talaga.
Umesto ka dito para cover ng bola. Happy tayo, guys.
Tayo naman ha. Go, go, go. Hey, happy. Go!
Well, D'Navigators don't want Perpetual to get even further here today. Again, 2 points is practically the biggest lead here of the game between these two teams, from either of these two teams. Tignan natin whether or not itong si Taboga could put in a good serve here to just rattle D'Navigators and take a 3-point lead.
Actually, this is the first time na ang Perpetual help yung lumamang ng 2 points because kanina sila yung palaging humahabol sa puntos nitong Iloilo. Easy first ball there.
Pepito, good save. Ramirez from the back, and Ramirez makes it a 3-point lead.
First time to lead 3 points. And now the coach of Iloilo will have a double substitution.
Saura and Ferrer checking in here for D'Navigators as they try to switch things up and change things around. Itong si Saura in particular, he's a big boy in terms of height, the tallest member of this team, and now he's in the front. Let's see whether or not that could be a factor here today.
Well, definitely gusto rito ng kanilang coach na magkaroon ng full front spikers to maximize on their attacks and also to focus more on their blockings.
And straight away, did we not mention that Saura could provide a difference? And there you have it. Instant impact substitution para sa D'Navigators Iloilo.
Now Enciso is back on the court for University of Perpetual Help. Their main setter.
For those wondering anong height nitong Saura, why I mentioned it, 6'4" po siya.
Oh.
Yan yung listed height niya. And as I say that, as I complimented his height,
Committed a service error.
Oh, so kahit height, hindi natin pwede pag-usapan or else nakaka-service error sila. Pero syempre, yan yung listed height niya. Let's see whether or not he's actually 6'4" later on. 3-point lead here for Perpetual. Ferrer with the setup. And battles at the net here. And so far, the duel is a stalemate. Pepito with the setup. And that time, the blocking of D'Navigators just a bit wayward.
The blockers are actually there and anticipating the opposite attack of University of Perpetual Health. But medyo na-wave lang nila yung braso nila. That's why that ball sailed out. Biggest lead so far for this set, 4 points.
21-17. Let's see whether or not Perpetual can continue to ride this. It feels like after a second technical timeout, they come out like a different team. Almost an ace there. Pero boy pa rin dito, they go to Ramirez. Ramirez couldn't kill it.
Well, that was outside, but they still have a 3-point advantage so far.
Boy pa rin dito ang Iloilo as Villamor goes to the service line. Itong si Kylo. And it looks like we're going to have a timeout on the floor. Again, a chance to listen in.
Isipin nyo na ang bola sa inyo ilalagay para pag binigyan kayo ng bola, napapalo nyo ang bola, okay? Pasahan lang natin ang maganda. Ngayon, pag may pumapalo ng spikers, always don't forget na merong recovery.
Okay guys,
Go! Hey, you birds! Go!
Coach Sama Kailar preaching passing, preaching the fundamentals here as they try to get over the D'Navigators, who are now trailing by 3. Pero alam naman natin that these two teams, especially before that second technical timeout, were really battling almost side by side.
But this time, unti-unting lumalaki yung lamang ng Perpetual. And a good reminder also from Coach Sammy Akailar na whenever their attackers will go for that attack, do not forget to cover because yung blocking nitong D'Navigators Iloilo is actually working. But yun nga lang, may times na outside yung block nila. That's why nakukuha nila yung puntos na yun.
So that should be corrected because it is 22-19 nakascore dyan ng D'Navigators after that block did go out.
Good defense by JM Apolinario.
Incredible defense there as Gampong can score. They go back to Luis Ramirez, and Ramirez unable to get past there, and there, I believe, looking for a net touch. They're asking for a challenge here. But they are out of challenges, I believe. Asking for a net touch. So let's see whether or not it will be given here. Again, a challenge-laden game between these two, as D'Navigators obviously trying to climb up from what was a 3-point lead against Perpetual.
That's right. And actually, itong ating dalawang referees, the first referee saw a player from Iloilo committed a net touch. But ang ating naman second referee saw a net touch sa blockers ng Perpetual.
So let's see, they are now trying to go through it. And Paning, I just want to let you know, katabi ko yung video challenge machine.
Oh, here it is.
Oh, so that's exactly what I saw. So net touch, yes. And that means D'Navigators.
The question is, who committed the net touch first?
Oh yeah, so sino na una? Pero successful yung nakalagay dito sa graphics natin. So let's see whether or not it will be discussed even further. So the point is awarded to D'Navigators, who desperately needed that to stay alive here in set number 1. What an eventful set number 1 here. Again, it feels like we can go all day, and Paneng might just do that here today.
Well, kanina we saw a big 4 points advantage itong Perpetual. At this time, the Navigators Iloilo was able to cut down the lead to only 1 point.
Kylo Villamor on the service line, cut it down to 1 point indeed, and make it 2 again because another service error here for D'Navigators. Can the Altas finally put away the D'Navigators? Can they get them lost? That is the question. Serve from Perpetual. Apolinario setting up De Pedro. And that time, De Pedro pulling one back.
Ang taas ng palo na yon ni De Pedro. Now I thought that there was no block touch or it was gonna sail out. But a much needed point for their squad. Only 1 point advantage ang kailangan nilang habulin dito.
Go to the back row, and that time, Marapok able to score once more. So we were asking, who else could score apart from Ramirez? Marapok has had a couple already. Timeout on floorless, isn't it?
Kailangan lang natin sipag sa unahan. Ha? Bawi agad, bawi. Ha?
Akin yan, akin. Tayo naman. Isa-isa hustle tayo, hustle. Hey, number! Go!
More effort, more energy, more passion. That's what they're asking for here for D'Navigators Iloilo. 2-point lead for Perpetual. And you take a look at what's needed here. Well, first of all, a bit more consistency here, trying to mount this comeback. for D'Navigators.
Right, and kanina, ang back to 2 points advantage na naman itong University of Perpetual Health. But actually, that was a good run from the D'Navigators Iloilo dahil 1 point na lang yung kailangan nilang habulin. But yun nga lang, sunod-sunod na naging errors ang naibigay nitong Iloilo.
Asguaza with the fake there. Who did they turn to? Ramirez again. Well, we were complimenting itong si Jeff Marapok kanina, pero ito si Louie Ramirez wants some of that shine too.
Actually, it's very consistent since the start of this set. Ang daming binibigay na bola sa kanila ni Enciso, talking about their setter, and nako-convert na yun kagad sa puntos.
And that time hitting the tape and falling out. Still a 2-point lead for Perpetual, but then all they need to do is score one more. Mads Gampong on the service line para sa D'Navigators. And that will be a quick timeout.
Guasa.
Para mawala to. Okay, pupunta ka rito. Backway. Si Louie dito.
Okay, 5 chip.
Okay, now, huwag gigila, relax lang. Tapos meron tayong back row, tapos meron tayong back row dito.
Okay.
Now, pag binigay ang bola rito, dapat may nagko-cover dyan, ha? Kahit lamang tayo, hindi pa tayo sigurado dyan, ha?
One to end it here in the first frame for Perpetual, and D'Navigators have 2 to extend. Mads Gampong on the service line, trying to ensure that they're still in the hunt here in this group, or at least have their fates in their hands. All that build-up and a service error here gives Perpetual the first frame, 25 to 22, and D'Navigators have a chance to regroup here ahead of the second frame. And with Perpetual taking the first set, we're going to go on a quick break in just a bit, but another confirmation of that 25 to 22. We'll be right back. (25 to 22) in favor of Perpetual in the end of the first frame here in the 2023 Spikers Turf Invitational Conference. Again, these two teams not all knotted up at 1-1 in terms of their records here in the group stage. And they need a win here desperately if they want a chance to be able to have their fates in their hands and dictate their future here. As we take a look at set 1 highlights. What stood out for you there, Padeng?
Well, definitely both squads really gave their all out during that first set dahil ang dami ng long rallies, and then as much as 2 points lang yung lamang ng D'Navigators Iloilo na hinahabol ng Perpetual Help. Not until the latter part of that first set kung saan lumaki ng lamang ng Altas, well, as much as 4 points because of the errors na rin na binigay ng Iloilo. And I think what caused them problems, talking about Iloilo, is their blocking during that latter part of the set. Dahil, gumana na itong dalawang open spikers ng Altas, si Marapok and Ramirez. Looking at the statistics, attack points of the Altas, 17 against 14 ng Iloilo. Though Iloilo had 2 block points, but 2 service aces naman ang meron dito ang Altas. That's why they're the #2 best server of this conference so far. Tabla lang tayo sa errors 6 points apiece. But yun nga lang yung latter part of the set. I think it was all Marapok and Ramirez for the University of Perpetual help na talagang ginamit nila yung blockers nila and nautakan nila yung depensa ng D'Navigators Iloilo. So coming into this second set, like what Coach Sammy mentioned a while ago during his timeout, that everyone should step up and everyone should contribute in the scoring department, because not just Louis Ramirez should do that and Marapok, but everyone should also do that. Their middle spikers hindi pa masyado na-activate ngayon.
Yeah, ano nangyari doon in the end of that second technical timeout? Because what happened was that the two teams were very close, either only a 1-point lead, at most a 2-point lead, pero nakalayo ang Perpetual after that second technical timeout.
They focus on their attacks and talagang inuutakan nila yung blockers ng D'Navigators Iloilo. We saw na tinatarget nila yung zone 1 nitong Iloilo and even using the hands of their blockers to score back-to-back points, kaya lumamang sila as much as 4 points.
Mads Gampong getting the first point on the board here. Good start para sa D'Navigators.
The same lineup for both squads coming into this second set. Take a look at that cross court of Mads Gampong. Ang layo ng kanyang blocker sa right arm niya.
Ranson with the setup. Toto De Pedro making it a 2-point lead here. Magandang simula ng D'Navigators.
Hindi na inantay ni De Pedro na iset sa kanya yung bola dahil maganda naman yung pagkakataas sa kanya on the left side.
Kylo Villamor, who also had a good contribution para sa D'Navigators here in set number 2, set number 1 rather, trying to get it going. Or that time, off the blockers para sa Perpetual.
That was Louis Ramirez from the back row. Talagang nag-delay siya ng kanyang atake, waiting for the arms of his blockers.
Jeff Marapok on the service line, again performing very well here in this one. Torres. It has been a day where D'Navigators, or at least a set where D'Navigators have started out well and hope to continue. GJ Torres on the service line para sa Iloilo. And Narciso with the setup.
Was too high.
Guaza. Normally he does the blocking, but that time he was blocked.
Good timing there by Michael Medalla, the middle blocker of University of Perpetual help. One-on-one there with Nas Guaza.
3-2 in favor of D'Navigators. Perpetual had a hard time shaking off D'Navigators until the latter parts of set number 1. And so far, D'Navigators have started out well here. Good rally. Francisco able to save it. De Pedro just sent that across. They go to the other side. At that time, Gampong and Guaza could not get the block across.
Actually, Nas Guaza was a bit far sa net for that block. Take a look at this. Ang laki ng gap nila. Kaya naman nakalusot yung bola na yon on their side.
So right now, Perpetual keeping things even. Michael Medalla on the service line, 2 points, an attack and a block to his name. And Medalla sends that long.
Sa tunog pa lang nung contact niya sa bola, alam mo na na mag-outside yung service na yon.
Again, you could hear that even more properly if you come over and join us here at the Paco Arena here in Manila. Of course, we would love to have you all here. Toto De Pedro could not get past the triple block. De Pedro again, wala pa rin. Lorenzo with the save. Guaza, softer touch. Who did they look for here? They go to the other side to Ramirez. Pero wala pa rin. Soft touch, great coverage here from D'Navigators. They go to De Pedro.
Good coverage there. Actually, credit that point to Apolinario, who read that drop ball well. And of course, Toto De Pedro with that finish, with the open attack, targeting the hands of his blockers in zone 1.
Hit the tape and it still got across. They go back to Ramirez. And a bit frustrated itong si Guaza. Probably thought that he should have deflected it the other way.
Sabi niya na ilang beses na nakakalusot itong si Louie Ramirez sa blockings niya. And actually that attack from Ramirez was not that strong. It was just really smart.
Nakuha niya yung angulo as they go to De Pedro again. Unable to keep that in. Itong si Enarquizo. Six to 4 in favor of the D'Navigators. Again, it was Perpetual who took set number 1. Toto De Pedro on the service line, sending that across. Enarquizo with the setup from the back. That time unable to even get across.
That was too low. It was a good set actually from Enarquizo, but the contact of Marapok, medyo na late na siya doon.
Toto De Pedro on the service line here as they look to go into the first technical timeout with the lead. Enarquizo could not get past the combination of Guaza and Villamor. That time Ramirez let me get us one closer.
That was Louie Ramirez targeting zone 1 again of the D'Navigators Iloilo.
Louie Ramirez taking his time here. Again, one of the more lethal servers in the game. Was not so lethal then. And we go to our first technical timeout with D'Navigators in the lead, 8-5. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Welcome back to the Spiker Surf 2023 Invitational Conference. Now, after every loss, may it be a match loss or a set loss, you will know that head coach Boyet Del Moro of the D'Navigators is extra frustrated when he gives the team the silent treatment in the huddle, which actually happened in this set. Now, he does this is because he wants to listen to the team, lead the huddle, because he wants his team to think for themselves what they did wrong and what they did right, and it actually seems to have worked in the second set. Back to you, Paolo and Paneng.
Thank you very much, Ayana. Paneng, in your opinion, does a silent treatment work?
Yeah, sometimes it does. But, I mean, it depends on the team. For sure, kilala naman nila yung kanilang coach na pag hindi na nagsalita, it means you have to step up and then you have to have a better teamwork.
And that time, hitting the antenna there, so Perpetual will pull one back. Unfortunately, I did not have the opportunity to give Paneng the silent treatment to let her feel how it feels here in this broadcast. Kasi trabaho ko is to talk. Right now, Perpetual trailing by 2 here. Again, they'll gladly take that error. And sending that a bit long. So for the D'Navigators, they have to feel, or at least they have to understand, that this is a very capable Perpetual team. And they cannot let their foot off the pedal like they did at the end of that second technical timeout in set number 1.
Yes, yung end game nila, yung nawala nung first set, talking about the Navigators Iloilo. But so far, a good start for their squad that we're seeing here in the second set.
What a defensive effort there from Villamor, who just sends it across. And Narciso to the back to Ramirez, who just flew in.
We saw the defense of Iloilo scrambling. But nakita na yon ng Perpetual help. Sabi nila, tama na. That's why he gave the ball to Louie Ramirez, who got that point coming up from the back row attack.
9-7 in favor of D'Navigators. Pero itong si Narciso with 4 excellent sets already, trying to make a difference here. The push.
Good save.
Great job there from Lorenzo as Gampong couldn't finish it. Again, there have been a lot of high-quality rallies here between these two. Toto De Pedro from the back, pero buhay pa rin. Mateo goes the other way. Who did they set up here? They go to Gampong.
What a finish by Mads Gampong. But you have to give credit sa defense ni Louie Ramirez. Dalawang bola yung pinakawalan ng malakas nitong D'Navigators Iloilo, but he was there to get that defense, but not this time sa attack ni Mads Gampong, the open.
Sending that a bit long, so that is a brief moment of respite para sa Perpetual. 2-point lead for D'Navigators still. Jefferson Marapok on the service line. The push, almost getting the point there, itong si Torres. But it looks like there will be a challenge here. A net touch is what they're asking for, talking about the D'Navigators. So let's see whether or not they are going to get it. I think masasabi natin, Paning, na kahit medyo mabagal ang simula ng Perpetual dito sa set number 2, they still have managed to at least stay within 2 points of itong D'Navigators.
Well, kanina actually lumamang ng 3 points itong D'Navigators Iloilo, but very relaxed lang ang University of Perpetual Help and slowly umaangat yung puntos nila. But then again, parang same lang nung first set na medyo yung set plays nila nasa open attackers.
So there is a net touch here against Perpetual. So it looks like the point will go to D'Navigators. A successful challenge here for D'Navigators. And you know, all pun intended, they navigated through that well.
Actually, lahat ng challenge na ginamit nitong University of Perpetual Help turns to be a successful one.
That time, he was able to get there, talking about D'Navigators Kylo Villamor, but unable to keep that in. Perpetual still trailing by 2. Not letting D'Navigators go anywhere, still within touching distance. A point here, we'll trim it down to 1. Michael Medalla with the serve. Toto De Pedro, great cover from Lorenzo. And that time, the blocking was ever present para sa Perpetual.
I think that was Casey Andrade, back-to-back blocks. Getting their 10th point for this set. Take a look at this. Una, one-on-one block sa attack ni Toto De Pedro. And then another one at that opposite attack of Mads Gampong. Perfectly timed there. Good point by University of Perpetual Help.
One-point lead here for D'Navigators, and based on the report of Ayana a while ago, it feels like yung tema ng D'Navigators huddle is less is more in terms of the words spoken. So 1-point lead para sa D'Navigators. Perpetual trying to even things up here. Si Michael Medalla on the service line. Oh, and Guaza met at the net, but managed to keep that alive. Narciso. And the floor defense unable to keep that in. But then now we have a tied ball game once more, 11-11.
So far, gumagana itong blockings ni Casey Andrade sa University of Perpetual Help. Nahihirapan makalagpas ng bola itong D'Navigators Iloilo, causing them a lot of troubles.
Michael Medalla still on the service line here para sa Perpetual. That time sending that straight to the net. So the lead goes back to Iloilo. Mads Gampong goes to the service line here for D'Navigators. Hits the tape, but still goes across. Barely saved here. Free ball for D'Navigators to deal with. Toto De Pedro. Wala pa rin. And we're going back and forth once more. De Pedro. Lorenzo with the setup. Push the other way. Who do they go to? They go to Ramirez.
So far, we're seeing a lot of net defense here on the side of University of Perpetual Help.
Look at this again.
Kahit na hindi masyadong madami yung kanilang kill blocks, but natatouch nila or napapabagal itong atake ng D'Navigators Iloilo. Kaya naman mas nadidepensahan nila or napupwestohan na maayos yung defense.
Mateo on the service line here for University of Perpetual Help. Si Budo Mateo. All tied up, 12 each. Unforced errors there in set number 2. 6 already for Perpetual. So something that I feel that they would like to clear up, as that one didn't even get past the net there for Mads Gampong. Francis Saura coming in for D'Navigators, as Gampong will take a quick breather. Yan, listed at 194 centimeters. According to Google, 6'4" po yan. Oh. Guaza, and Guaza with a great finish.
That was a great setup by JM Apolinario. Medyo malayo na siya sa net or nasa attack line na, talking about their setter. But naset pa rin niya yung bola na yon kay Naz Guaza.
De Pedro. Got a bit of help from the tape. Mateo with the setup. Villamor. Still no good. As we keep on going here. Blocking effort from Apolinario and Guaza, but unable to keep that in. And Perpetual now have the lead. (14-13). Perpetual, who claimed set number 1, finished stronger between the two after both of them were relatively even all throughout in set number 1. Guaza saying, no, let's have a bit more consistency here para sa D'Navigators.
But that was a good setup coming off from JM Apolinario dahil overball na yung first ball, but naabot pa na yun for a one-handed set. Saktong-sakto kay Naz Guaza. Now both teams are tied at 14 points.
Guaza. That time the blocking, I believe, helped slow that down. Villamor getting it past the blockers, and the coverage not quite there.
And the coverage was a bit far, talking about the University of Perpetual Help. But yun yung mga sayang dahil nagawa na nila ng paraan na mapabagal yung bola, but ang layo lang ng cover noon.
Yeah, unable to get to that, talking about Perpetual. Don't see Budo Mateo unable to get to it. Guaza. And rotation error there means a point goes to D'Navigators, who now go into the second technical timeout with a 2-point lead. As Guaza will gladly take that point. So don't go away. We'll be right back.
Inuumpisan ko muna sa sarili ko para sundan ako ng mga bago na kasama ko para ma-motivate ko sila na kung ano yung ginagawa ko, ganoon din yung gagawin nila. Yung eagerness ng bawat isa sa amin sobrang taas. So yun, siguro yun yung magiging advantage namin sa ibang team. Pinaka-goal namin is yung tumaas yung moral namin tsaka makakuha kami ng experience sa Spikers Turf tsaka kung papalarin makapasok ng semis or sa finals. Yun talaga yung pinaka-main goal namin.
Luis Ramirez in the Perpetual Altas. University of Perpetual Help System, Dalta, Kinto Tyres, go into this one needing a bit more consistency. And that will actually help as Guaza hits the tape and they are now trailing by 1. So, kanina nakita natin in set number 1, it was Perpetual who came out of the second technical timeout like a house on fire, really outclassed the Navigators and took set number 1. And I'm sure Iloilo wants to prevent the same thing from happening.
Well, definitely. But kanina, sila yung lamang, talking about University of Perpetual Help. But this time, nabaliktad na dahil 2 points advantage na meron itong D'Navigators Iloilo. And again, nag-iiba na naman yung takbo ng both squads after the second technical timeout.
Gemma Polinario, the serve. And the blocking just could not keep that in as Perpetual now trail by just 1.
Pero nakikita mo yung direction ng katawan ni Jeff Marapok, the open spiker of University of Perpetual Help, na talagang humaharap siya pa outside, na inaantay niya yung kanyang blockers dahil yun yung intention niya is ipatalsik lang yung bola sa blockers na mahirap depensahan. So far, Marapok has 4 points for this set.
Looking for Saura again. Saura. Good coverage from Perpetual. And that time, nothing doing here for Perpetual as D'Navigators scores from a block.
Courtesy of that block kay Torres, middle blocker. GJ Torres, middle blocker of D'Navigators Iloilo. Now a substitution for their squad. Rick Adao will do the serving duties for Iloilo.
And Adao unable to get that in. Napakahirap yun. You're asked to come in to serve. And when you haven't played, that's when you're a bit cold. You know, my heart always goes out to mga service specialists.
Yeah. Kasi sila na yung mag-serve tapos usually sila din yung maayos dumipensa sa likod. So the squad usually parang dalawa na yung libero mo sa likod nun.
That time though, nothing happening there for Saura as the blocking was just too direct and too, well, really angled for them to deal with. Talking about the Navigators, actually it hit si Saura on the way down.
Good first ball.
And even better finish. Itong si Torres pulling the point back and getting the lead, 19-18, after Perpetual were able to tie it. And now Perpetual even things up again. We're in for another grinded out end to another frame.
Luis Ramirez is in the front row for Perpetual. So we'll expect a lot of sets na ibibigay sa kanya nito ni Narciso, the setter of Perpetual. Lalo na pag ganito patapos na yung second set. So they need someone to score a lot of points for their squad.
Michael Medalla on the service line here for Perpetual. Adao with the reception. De Pedro off the blockers.
Ang taas ng palo na yon ni Toto De Pedro. Talagang tinarget niya yung palms ng kanyang mga blockers.
Francis Saura on the service line. And sends that long. So Perpetual now tie things up again.
Was it the back-to-back service error for D'Navigators Iloilo? First from Rick Adao and now from Saura. But Toto De Pedro, open spiker of Iloilo, already has 7 points for this set.
Guaza. Barely kept that alive. It goes to De Pedro. Well, Ramirez had to adapt there. Not quite the pass that he needed. And De Pedro gets that off the blockers. He'll enjoy that one. As Janelia Adao checks out. (21-20), timeout on the floor. Chance for us to listen in.
Spike.
Hindi ako nag-set. Hindi ako
Dalaw lang kayo ng okay. Nandito si Casey, di ba? Andito yung maliit na setter, ha? So, pupuntahin si Casey dito para siya mag-reveal. So, kailangan, paluin mo na lang ang bola, eh. Wala ka pang pinapatay, wala ka pang nabablock. Hayaan mo si Louie dito, tapos back row dito isa. So, may pumapalo sa atin sa harapan, dapat may nagko-cover, ha? Sino mag-service sila, di ba? Sila mag-service, siguraduhin natin ang pasa.
Execute tayo na sa go on the pass. Hey, you work! Kinto!
Coach Sammy trying to empower more of his players here as Perpetual and D'Navigators grind it out here at the end of set number 2. Toto De Pedro on the service line para sa D'Navigators, leading by 1, 21-20. Ramirez with the reception and Guaza with the block.
Perfectly timed block there by Nas Guaza. Much needed point for their squad that will give them a 2-point advantage for this set.
Perpetual, well, you see the focus in their eyes.
Yeah.
Toto De Pedro with a safe serve.
Good defense.
Kept alive here. Who did it turn to? Ramirez again.
Well, Ramirez giving problems here for the Navigators Iloilo. But now he's in the back row.
Well, you can block him once, but then second time around, oh, he's got it.
Bawi agad itong si Louie Ramirez. 1-point advantage by the Navigators Iloilo.
Again, it's probably the guy you want on the service line already. 2 aces, 17 points, 14 attacks rather, and 1 block. Ramirez. Guaza. Kept alive, barely. Sent the other way. Who do they look for here? Villamor.
Umibabaw na sa blockers itong si Villamor.
23-21. D'Navigators with a 2-point advantage. Guaza on the service line here. You know, you take a look at some of the errors here of Perpetual, like that misrotation a while ago. Now they wish they could have that back. 5 points, 3 blocks, 2 attacks here for Guaza. That's Ciso with the setup, looking for Ramirez.
What a defense by Toto De Pedro.
Torres just pushed that across. And from the back again, no stopping Perpetual that time.
Talaga ito si Narciso really looking for Louie Ramirez. Kanina back row on the right side. Tapos another one, binigyan niya on the pipe.
Just a 1-point lead here. Lituania coming in for Andrade. So we talk about service specialists. Chance for Lituania to make this good. Safe serve there. Villamor. Villamor again. And now just 1 point away. Talking about D'Navigators in claiming the frame and evening things up.
Good attack there by Villamor. Talagang taas ng elevation niya, na ang taas din ng contact niya sa bola. Kaya naman wala nang nahawakan yung blockers niya for that attack.
You know, when he gets up there in terms of airspace, Probably the reason why they named him after an airbase. 24-22. I don't know if that's true, by the way. We're going to find out. And that time sent long. And that will be it here for set number 2. 25-22. Ramirez and the Perpetual Help System Delta Altas are now pegged back 1. And now we go to set number 3, tied up with 1 set apiece. 25-22 in favor of Iloilo. We'll be right back. Don't go away. (25-22) in favor of D'Navigators against Perpetual to tie it all up at 1 set apiece. We said a while ago that there was barely anything separating these two in set number 1, and set number 2 really proved that point.
Well, definitely, and we saw nung mid-part nitong second set na the blocking of University of Perpetual Help talagang gumana. At nahirapan ang D'Navigators Iloilo. Nakalamang sila as much as 3 points, talking about the Altas. But the latter part of that set, doon na sila nahirapan kumuha ng puntos or makalamang sa Iloilo. And we're looking at the statistics. The Navigators had 15 points sa attacks and 2 kill blocks. No service aces for both squads, but the Altas had more errors for that set. 8 errors against 6 ng Iloilo. And nakita natin din yung problema ng the Altas for the latter part is that palagi nilang hinahanap si Louie Ramirez to get points. But doon na sila nahirapan nung umikot siya sa back row. Dahil humahabol sila ng 1 point, 2 points, but someone in the front row or someone else should step up for their squad.
That's just a reminder. Natama yung report ni Ayana Perlas a while ago talking about that they have to try and find different ways to score apart from Louie Ramirez and trying to make sure that they aren't too reliant on itong si Ramirez, and we can see why, especially at the end of that set number 2. But you take a look at this D'Navigators team, on the other hand, it just felt that they did not let go the entire second frame.
Yeah, they definitely did not let go. Dahil kahit na lumalamang itong Altas, they stayed composed and they stick to their game plan. Unti-unti sila nakakakuha ng puntos. And we saw how they focus on their floor defense. There were a lot of points or strong attacks na nakuha ni Toto De Pedro. Na-save nila yung bola. And we saw them even scrambling on the floor just to save the ball. So they are that determined to get that second set.
Apolinario with the setup. And that time, the net defense of Perpetual gets them on the board. Kanina nakita natin na walang ace yung Perpetual in that last frame after getting 2 in the first. So let's see whether or not it could become a weapon here in the third frame after abandoning them in the second. And of course, as I say that, syempre service error yung nangyari.
That was the first service error for this set.
Villamor on the service line here para sa D'Navigators. Medalla.
Oh, it's saved.
Oh, they were all celebrating already. And that time, It is Perpetual who finally score.
Second referee saw that net touch violation called on GJ Torres. Grabe, kakastart pa lang na ating third set. Nakita mo na yung intensity na makabawi itong
Perpetual.
Altas.
Yeah, itong Perpetual, they actually, ramdam mo iba yung energy nila dito sa set number 3, at least sa simula. And Torres saying, I don't think so.
Magandang bawi naman yun ni GJ Torres. You know, every time na mag-set itong si JM Apolinario or ma-activate niya yung kanyang middle attackers, as much as possible, itaas niya ng konti yung set. Because if he gives them a low set, naaabutan ng blockers nitong Altas.
GJ Torres sends that across. And Ramirez does what he does best.
He actually has a tall blocker now in front of him. That's Saura, the opposite attacker for the Navigators Iloilo. He will start for this set, replacing Mads Gampong.
Of course, came in as a sub in set number 1, itong si Saura, and that time send that across. Well, these two teams, we talked about how even they are after taking straight set wins in the last in their last games, respectively, and they're really living up to the billing here so far.
Yeah, so far, talagang match na match itong both squad.
Right in front of Saura, unable to get down quick enough. He had to cover a lot of real estate to try and get there. Tangkad niya kasi. 3 and 4 in favor of Perpetual. Louis Ramirez scored 2 aces in set number 1. Has yet to replicate that here. Apolinario. And Toto de Pedro right in front of Ramirez.
Good set there by JM Apolinario, waiting for the approach ni Naz Guaza. Kaya naman na-late na yung middle blocker ng Altas, leaving only one blocker in front of Toto de Pedro.
On the back, hit the tape and got through.
Hindi na yung nakita ni Naz Guaza.
Just one of those moments wherein you expect one thing and get another. Five to 4 in favor of Perpetual as they're trying to pull away here. But again, barely anyone has got that. I believe 4 was the biggest lead here in the game so far.
Yeah, for the second set, right?
As Guaza pulls it back, tied the ball game again, 5-all.
Well, Guaza was a bit silent during the first 2 sets, but this time at the start of the third set, we think that JM Apolinario will already activate his middle attackers.
Guaza.
Good serve.
And again, it feels like each team here fighting tooth and nail, going back and forth, not letting each other go. Set 1, sinabi natin, baka magiging battle of attrition to. And so far, both teams holding strong. Apolinario. Pepito was there to save it. Who did they look for here? That time off the blockers. Don't see Clint Mateo, or si Budo Mateo rather, getting the point. Well, Perpetual's bench has come alive here, cheering them on as they feel momentum swinging their way.
Oh, that was inside. Good block there by Marapok, timing it well, the back row attack of Sauro.
I believe they're checking that, or rather not. So we go into our first technical timeout here with Perpetual with the lead, 8-5. We'll be right back.
You're still watching the Spiker Surf Invitational Conference 2023. This is the match between the D'Navigators versus the Perpetual Altas. Now, one out of the 4 reminders of head coach Sammy Arcalor to his team coming to this game was to fix their #1 weakness, and that is their reception. Now, the Altas spent 3 hours every day before this game solely on receive and floor defense drills kasi gusto ni Coach Sammy early on pa lang sa conference na to, sigurista na yung team niya sa weakness nila, which ironically enough is Iloilo's strength, the floor defense. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Josiano Perlas, with that report. And the numbers bear that out in terms of the weakness of their game. Itong University of Perpetual helped. Number 21 in terms of reception. 8-6 in favor of Perpetual. As the Navigators looking to come back into this one. Good save there coming from Lorenzo. Apolinario with the setup. Saura could not score. Mateo sends it all the way back. Free ball to play with here for the Navigators. Apolinario with the setup. I believe we're trying to get a check ball. They will get it. Iloilo pull one back.
Check ball there by Michael Medalla. So far, we're not seeing that problem on the side of the Altas. Yung first ball nila. Dahil maayos naman na nahahatid nila kay Narciso. And also their floor defense is good coming into this game.
Well, Coach Sammy would love to hear you say that, saying, look what our practice is doing. It got us better. And they'd like that too. That's a lot better for Perpetual. 2-point lead here, 9-7.
You can see their squad is really eager to win this game dahil grabe yung teamwork nila and yung demeanor nila since the start of this first set.
Jeff Marapok, who had a good first frame, a bit quiet in the second.
Yeah.
And the point will go the other way, asking for a net touch. I believe they will challenge this, talking about Perpetual. Yung D'Navigators, a point initially given to them. So tignan natin kung meron. But they mentioned it a while ago. So number 21 in terms of reception itong Perpetual, that was what they perceived their biggest weakness was. But do you feel that that was their biggest problem? Or is it really na hindi nakaspread yung attacking, yung offense nila so far here in this game?
For me, I think yun na, mas hindi nakaspread yung attacks nila. So far, maayos yung first ball na pinapakita nila. Nakakagawa sila ng mga set plays. Actually, sila nga lang nakakagawa ng combination plays. And we didn't see a lot of out-of-system plays, talking about the Altas. So that means nahahatid nila in front of the attack row or nahahatid nila diretso mismo sa setter nila yung kanilang first ball.
So a challenge is actually almost like a free timeout for all of the coaches here to get to talk to their players and get things ready here. Sa kabila naman, D'Navigators Iloilo, very balanced in terms of spiking and blocking. And there hasn't been really that much difference here, or at least it feels like it in comparison in terms of yung blocking numbers or yung spiking numbers nila. So tingnan natin kung may net touch nga ba. And, yes, there is a net touch. And Perpetual will be happy that they made the challenge. So it's now 10-7 in favor of Perpetual. Coach Sammy saying, I got sharp eyes. Jeff Marapok on the service line. And what a way to answer back itong si Villamor.
Ayaw na nila palayuin ang lamang nitong Altas. With that opposite attack of Villamor. Cross-court, a sharp one because hindi na nakahabol sa blocking itong si Michael Medalla. So there are a lot of space there in the cross-court.
Ramirez able to score.
Dalawa na yung blockers niya sa middle attack na yon ni Louie Ramirez. But he was still able to target the hands of his blocker, sending that ball outside.
And there it is. Ramirez does what he does best, really. And they send it straight into the net. The Navigators will gladly take that point. It felt for a moment there, itong si Perpetual was starting to build momentum. Either team really here hasn't been able to build any solid momentum for a very long time in this game.
Dahil kung kailan nasa kanila na yung momentum, tapos pagdating sa service area, nagko-commit sila ng error.
Yeah.
Oh!
Guaza did enough to get that block in.
Good block there by Guaza, and the coverage of the Altas was a bit far. Sinabi na yun ni Coach Asami kanina na wag nilang kalimutan whenever ma-atake yung kanilang teammates is always cover for the ball.
Well, we heard from the bench just now from Perpetual, wag ipalo sa block. And as we say that, the blocking, the net defense here working wonders here for D'Navigators.
Sinayang nila yung kanilang 3-point advantage early on. And now we're tied by 11. Good hard work here by the side of D'Navigators Iloilo.
Well, we talked about momentum. Itong D'Navigators now have that momentum. Ramirez says, let me have it back. As Toto De Pedro tried to go across but couldn't take it.
Good effort there by Toto De Pedro. Dahil pag naabutan niya yun, mataas lang niya outside the antenna. It will be a good ball.
Another look at that here. So, again, Ramirez just brought down the hammer. De Pedro. Saura. Polinario with the setup, and that was just a bit too close to the net. 2-point lead. And they call for time here, talking about D'Navigators. We'll be right back and listen in to the huddle.
Dalawa lang.
Dalawa lang yan, dalawa. Kapitan niyo yan, kapitan. Huwag ka nagmamadali.
Opo.
Kaya nawawala doon sa direction ng bola.
Nawawala yung enjoyment natin. Enjoy tayo. Every point, every point.
Hindi tahimik masyado.
Let's go, let's go.
Nabol na natin, huwag na ulit.
Hey, Nabi! Go!
Just to hold on here, talking about D'Navigators, 11-13 in favor of Perpetual. It felt like a while ago, 3-point lead para sa Perpetual. D'Navigators had a little rally of their own. Ramirez shut that down, and all of a sudden, 2-point lead again for Perpetual. Mateo with the serve. Apolinario with the setup, and Toto De Pedro with the finish.
I thought he was gonna set that ball to Naz Guaza, but ginamit niya si Naz Guaza for a fake approach there. Kaya naman yung blockers nitong Altas nagliparan na. Nag-commit na kay Naz Guaza, kaya wala ng blockers doon for Toto De Pedro.
Well, you know you're successful kung pati yung analyst ko na-fake nyo. Apolinario with the setup to De Pedro. And that time, he felt like they tried to look for the check ball or hunted for it and unable to get that in instead. De Pedro will check out as Doranilia will come in for the first time. Slotting in at the open position. Luis Ramirez is on service line here. Or whether or not he can finally get an ace again. Hasn't had an ace since that first frame, and Guaza sent that a bit long. So it is Perpetual with a 3-point lead again. Getting a point here will not only send us to our second technical timeout, but they will also erect a 4-point lead, which feels like the biggest lead that we've had in this game. That's all we can get to. 4, hindi na pwede mag-5.
Yeah, so far, no? Also, nung second set, 4 points lang yung biggest lead. And ito na namang third set.
And there you have it. So Perpetual will go to the second technical timeout with a 4-point lead. Let's see if they can extend it to 5 and beyond, because here, Perpetual have a bit of momentum. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Siguro kung hindi ako volleyball player, siguro singer ako ngayon. Kasi magaling ako kumanta at saka maganda yung boses ko. Ikaw na nga ang hinahanap ng puso.
Mads, we're happy you're a volleyball player instead. The first ever NBA in-season tournament is here. Watch all 30 teams battle it out for the NBA Cup from November 4 to December 9, only on NBA TV Philippines, One Sports, and Pilipinas Live. So D'Navigators coming out hot off the gates here in the second technical timeout after Perpetual erected a 4-point lead. And hanggang ngayon, wala pa ng 5-point lead dito sa laban na to.
So far, wala pa. But kaka-second technical timeout pa lang natin. And we've seen the first two sets, itong dalawang squad, nag-iiba yung speed ng laro nila after the second set.
You have si Naz unable to keep that in here. Itong si Quaza. And you can see that may konting gigil.
Meron na.
Itong D'Navigators in this one, trying to up the energy level. Quaza, not that time. Saura with a high set. And the blocking, the net defense working here for Perpetual so far. Villamor able to squeeze that through.
Ang gandang bawi yun ni Villamor. Dahil medyo naghahabol sa block itong si Medalya, kaya hindi siya nakapwesto na maayos for that cross-court block.
3-point lead para sa Perpetual. D'Navigators want to inch just a bit closer here. 7 points, 3 attacks, and 4 blocks. The kind of numbers we expect from Guaza in terms of blocking.
Oh!
With the fake from Medalya and able to just finesse that across.
Actually, medyo mistime nga niya yung attack na yun. Kaya parang he sent it over easily, but hindi in-expect naman yun ng depensa nitong D'Navigators Iloilo.
Well, si Marabok, we haven't mentioned him a lot in the second set. Here in the third, a bit more. So looking for the contributions apart from Ramirez. Pushed across, buhay pa rin, Apolinario. Backside, looking for Villamor. Buhay pa rin dito. Saura. And Marapok with the single block. Bounced that straight off Saura.
Kanina pa sila nagwa-one-on-one nito ni Marapok and ni Saura. Kahit na nasa back row si Saura, natatimingan niya na maayos yung block niya. Smart blockings there by Marapok. 5-point advantage
5-point
now.
lead, I was going to say. They've broken the glass ceiling, pero binalik nila.
Alam natin na malapit lang itong 4-point advantage ng Altas dahil nagagawa ng paraan ng D'Navigators Iloilo na mahabol ito.
Yeah. Nakaka-mini run din itong D'Navigators. So
Yeah.
let's see how far they can go here. Or will Perpetual, just like that, extend the lead again. Itong si Marupok has come alive here dito sa set number 3. Time out for D'Navigators. Let's check in.
Training natin na ganyan, 2015 na.
Tingnan mo muna yung bola. Pag gagaling sa block, diretso. Para makita mo yung bola sa akin. Kasi nag-double step ka pa backward. Yun lang, pagbagsak mo yung bola.
Go. 3-1 na, 3-1. Kailangan ito lang training natin.
Yun.
Para yung momentum. Go, let's go Let's go! Hey! Tabi! Go! Pilitin natin yung
5-point lead for Perpetual as D'Navigators are looking to try and cobble up together some points in quick order.
No, we heard from their huddle that they're planning to have a 3-1 run. But so far, itong si Marapok already has 7 points and 3 blocks for this game.
And looking for other contributors. Well, Marapok has answered the call. Ramirez with the setup. And what a hit from the back.
Biggest lead so far for this game, 6 points advantage of the Altas.
And it has come not because of Luis Ramirez's volume scoring, which is what we're used to, but the key contributions here coming from Marapo.
And also the middle blocker of the Altas has come to live. Ito si Michael Medalla. Really contributing well in the blocking department.
Villamor. And there was just a bit of hesitation.
Yeah.
And it falls the way of Perpetual, who are running away with this frame.
Sometimes habit yan ng mga players na pag nakita nila na parang feeling nila may violation, humihinto sila sa set play even na hindi pa nag-whistle yung mga referees.
That one looking for a check ball, but then it will go D'Navigators' way, who now climb up to 16. 22 to 16, so they are going to ask for a block touch though. Talking about Perpetual. So we look at the fact that itong Perpetual has now, at least in the past few points, really varied their attacks, found different ways to score apart from Luis Ramirez. And that's exactly what Coach Sam was talking about all pre-game and even during some of the timeouts.
Yeah, and then everyone is really contributing now and they have a better floor defense. Credit to their libero as well, si John Pepito. Let's take a look at this replay. Was there at the block touch?
I will wait for the subtitle to come out at hindi daw, according to the challenge system.
Yeah, medyo malayo
Yeah.
yung blockings na yun. But still a 5-point advantage. Make that 6 rather for the Altas.
Sending that just a bit too long, 23-16. And the ball is out. Medalla on the service line here. I believe that serve was so wayward, it may have knocked something down. Perpetual looking to take care of business here in this frame. But the Navigator saying that there's still life in them. Looks like Torres was able to combine there. And a timeout on the floor, 2 points away from Perps from claiming this set. Well, not much said at all in that particular huddle. 23-17 in favor of Perpetual. So let's see whether or not silence is golden para sa D'Navigators.
Well, let's just expect na si Coach Sammy Acailar gave specific instructions to his squad because they want to end this set on a high note. Oh!
Changing in mid-air, Ramirez got that through, but has to go back in coverage and slow down, but then unable to get the help from behind. Talking about Perpetual. Torres. And the acrobatic finish coming from Perpetual, getting the point in, just 1 point away now from claiming the frame.
That was an easy drop ball from Casey Andrade. easy point just behind his blockers. Hindi na yun naabutan ni Villamor.
Budo Mateo on service line here para sa Perpetual as they try to end this set. Ferrer with the setup, looking for Saura. Almost got into each other's way. Ramirez looking for the check ball, and they'll get it. So it is Perpetual who takes set number 3, take a 2-1 lead in what has been their most impressive frame here by some margin against the D'Navigators team, who is going to try and pull one back and extend this contest. Don't go away. You're watching the Spiker Serve 2023 Invitational Conference. Set number 3 goes the way of Perpetual, 25-18. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Paco Arena for your Spiker Surf 2023 Invitational Conference. 2-1 in favor of Perpetual here against D'Navigators Iloilo in what was the most consistent set here for Perpetual, Paneng.
Well, definitely, and we saw pa lang yung body language nitong the Altas coming into the third set that they really want to get that set because they were very consistent, not just in the floor defense but also the ball distribution of their setter Narciso, activating his middle blockers. We're looking at the statistics. Attack points ng Altas, 13 against 10 ng D'Navigators. Both squads had 3 blocks apiece, but the D'Navigators had more errors for that set. 9 errors compared to 5 of the Altas. And I was gonna mention during the latter part of the third set that there were a couple of net touch violations and attack errors coming from the D'Navigators Iloilo, giving a lot of free points to their opponents. And dun parang na-pull yung momentum ng Altas. Nagdire-diretso sila. They grabbed that opportunity to score more points. And credits to their setter, si Narciso, for finally activating their middle attackers. And yung blocking din ng Altas really worked well for that set. Kahit wala masyadong block points, but napipigilan nila or napapabagal nila yung mga atake ng Iloilo.
Well, let's see whether or not Iloilo can have a good start here, an energetic start. Kanina nakita natin medyo up and down yung energy levels nila, up and down yung laro nila. But then it was Perpetual who had a bit more consistency. In fact, after the second technical timeout, I think masasabi natin, nag-iba yung body language ng Perpetual. They were able to get even their bench involved in the sense that they were all hyping each other up. At nakita natin that looked like it made a big difference in how they moved on the court as we go into set number 4 here. And it is D'Navigators who draw first blood.
A different lineup here for Coach of the D'Navigators Iloilo, bringing in a new setter.
Itong si Boyet Del Moro making moves. Si Coach Boyet trying to do something different in an effort to get a win. And the point will still go to D'Navigators, still blanking out Perpetual here in set number 4.
So Ferrer is starting as the setter for D'Navigators Iloilo.
See Aldrey Ferrer here for D'Navigators. Trying to do something different here, showing them a different look. And it is out according to our officials. Pero yung challenge ng Perpetual, tingnan natin kung may kakasaba sila. Pasa sa angulo na to. And we will let the challenge system decide instead.
That was quite a tough angle. But very confident yun si Medalya that pasok yung running attack niya na yun. A rare running attack na makikita natin from their squad.
So again, still checking it here. At alam mo, may spoilers ako dito pero hindi ko na sasabihin. So katabi natin yung challenge system natin dito sa Paco Arena. And we are going to have that decision soon. And here it is. Great challenge here coming from Perpetual. And it is in for sure.
Way inside for Medalya.
So first point here for Perpetual coming by a challenge. Medalya with the first point. For D'Navigators. What can they do here? Unfortunately, not much as Medalya enjoyed that one. So first point from Perpetual here in set number 4 coming courtesy of Medalya. A challenge and a block.
And also, Mads Gampong will start for their squad now. Second set, it was Sauro, but Coach Boyd bringing him back again.
Toto De Pedro hitting the antenna, and the point will go the way of Perpetual. Kanina nakita natin, there were a few moments for D'Navigators. You mentioned yung mga net touches a while ago in set number 3 that really pulled them back. So simple things like that needs to be cleared out.
But so far, silent itong Iloilo coming into this set.
Toto De Pedro.
Oh, nice try though.
That made some noise. Despite all of the efforts from the Perpetual players on the floor. So they will wipe the floor because of all this effort coming from Perpetual. 3 bodies on the floor. Habang itong D'Navigators doing enough here to make sure that we're still tied up. Medalya. And Medalya has been a man on a mission here, but it's Perpetual here in the set number 4.
Yeah, since the third set, parang gumana siya dahil nabuhayan siya. Ang dami niyang mga blocks kanina. And also, may mga quick attacks din siya. But coming into this fourth set, iba yung laro na pinapakita nito ni Medalya.
Medalya on the service line. Speaking of, si Michael. Sends it straight to the tape. Ayun, kasalanan mo na yun. I wasn't really complimenting him, pero ikaw.
Medyo may gigil siya doon dahil gusto niya to market sa receive nitong Iloilo.
4 points each right now as D'Navigators looking for a way through. Mads Gampong with the serve there. From the back, it looks like it did not even get across, or either that or Guaza had the block.
I think it was a bit too low. Even Marapok said na mababa yung contact na yun sa bola.
Gampong on the service line. 1 point lead para sa D'Navigators. Soft touch. Guaza kept that alive. Still keeping it alive. Toto De Pedro. Good coverage there. Ito naman si Guaza off the blockers.
Good connection here between Ferrer and Guaza. Mas comfortable si Guaza na medyo mataas yung set sa kanya when he goes for that quick attack.
Lorenzo keeping that alive here for D'Navigators. Toto De Pedro having to just pull that across. And Narciso with the setup, the running attack. That's the job.
Now we're seeing Narciso already distributing his set to his attackers. For the first 2 sets, it was mainly Louis Ramirez and Marapok. But coming into the third and fourth set, he's already activating his middle attackers as well.
Well, we haven't said enough about Andrade, who scored that one. So let's see whether or not we'll see more of him here in this set. As Toto De Pedro found a bit of a gap. Well, there's a player here from D'Navigators who has been leading the charge here in set number 4. Toto De Pedro is definitely that player. Guaza, not there. And Narciso looking for Ramirez that time, off the blockers.
Whenever they need a point, talking about the Altas, Louis Ramirez is always ready for their squad. Sila yung naghahabol ngayon sa lamang ng Iloilo.
Pulling that across. Blocking, slowed that down para sa D'Navigators. Villamor.
Good cover.
Lorenzo going across the court. From the back, Ramirez. Oh, buhay pa rin dito. Great effort from Villamor. And Narciso varying the attacks. Toto De Pedro, great floor defense again. And that time, finally the kill.
Grabe yung kapit na yon nitong Altas dahil ang ganda ng depensa pinapakita nitong D'Navigators Iloilo. Whenever Toto De Pedro is at the back row, parang dalawa na yung libero nila doon dahil grabe yung depensa and ang ganda ng pagbabasa nila ng kanilang mga attackers.
That was Jeff Marapok with the score there for Perpetual. Again, those are the typical numbers we expect from Louis Ramirez, by the way. 23 points, 20 attacks, a single block, and 2 aces. Villamor able to hammer that right in front of Ramirez. And we go into the first technical timeout with D'Navigators leading by 1.
You're still watching the Spikers Turf 2023 Invitational Conference. Paolo and Paneng, I want to mention one person that head coach Sammy is eyeing to step up for his team, and that is Clint Mateo. This is his second year with the Altas, and Coach Sammy has been keeping an eye on him closely because he sees potential for him to be part of the national team. Kaya pinasabak na niya dito si Clint sa Spikers Turf. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much. And of course, Clint Mateo, that is a lot of expectation to be dealing with here with Coach Sammy Kailar asking for all of that. And let's see whether or not he can develop into a national team standout here. And that is sent a bit long. Tied ball game again, 8-all. Again, thank you very much to Ayana Perlas for that report just a while ago. So here, between these two, Perpetual and D'Navigators, great energy from these two here in set number 4. A bit of a back and forth and good floor defense shown by these two so far. And as I said, that Torres saying, nope, not good enough here for Perpetual.
So far, the leading scorers for Perpetual is Ramirez with 23 points, followed by Marapok with 12 points. But on the side naman of the Navigators Iloilo, it's Villamor with 12 points and De Pedro with 13.
Ferrer sent that straight into the net. So good numbers here being shown by both these squads in terms of their scoring. A couple of players already in double digits. Take a look at the unforced error count there. 3 for Perpetual and only 2 for Iloilo. As the Navigators will take another error their way. And of course, if you're Perpetual, you don't want them to extend this to set number 5.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a dangerous team, itong D'Navigators. The push, Toto De Pedro was there. Ramirez.
Over ball.
And pouncing was Torres for D'Navigators. 2-point lead. Kylo Villamor on the service line. Their passing hasn't been on point here, talking about Perpetual.
Nahihirapan na sila makakuha ng magandang first ball.
So it looks like there is a check ball, but then there will be a challenge. They're going to challenge a block touch. So let's see whether or not it got past the net, as the D'Navigators will hope that this goes their way. Well, we saw a while ago that this Perpetual team will not go away. They'll always keep it close to the D'Navigators.
A 2-point advantage here only by D'Navigators Iloilo. So here's the official replay, and there was indeed a block touch.
Felt on the elbow.
Yeah. So the point will go to the Altas. Only 1-point advantage now ang meron dito ang D'Navigators Iloilo. Now Louis Ramirez in the front row. So what are we going to expect? And Narciso will set a lot of balls to Louis.
Well, he won't even get a chance to on this occasion after Torres got there first.
Actually, Ferrer, the setter of Iloilo, is doing a good job distributing the ball here in this fourth set.
Narciso looking for Ramirez.
Right on cue. Giving the ball to Louis Ramirez and targeting that cross-court defense of Iloilo.
Another look at that there. Well, couldn't score in the previous station, so the Altas trying to tie things up here. Toto de Pedro using the fake from Guaza.
And a good set by Ferrer. Kita mo nagkagulo na yung blockers ng Altas.
Andre Ferrer has changed things here for Coach Boyet Del Moro. Narciso. And Ramirez taking things into his own hands.
Nanggigigil na dito si Louis Ramirez.
Yep.
Either a sharp cross-court or pinipilit niyang maibabawan yung blockers niya para mahirapan dumipensa itong Iloilo.
Guaza, powerful hit off the blockers. Nothing stopping that one. 2-point lead, but it's the D'Navigators. Another look at that, just a single blocker to deal with. Toto de Pedro. Ramirez hitting the antenna.
Yeah, he was targeting zone 1 but medyo malayo yung set. Tumama yun sa antenna, and now a substitution from Coach Boyet bringing in Kobe Tabuga.
Actually, it's Coach Sammy who made the change.
Check that, that's Coach Sammy of the Perpetual Altas.
Mateo with the setup. Mateo again. Same target. That time Guaza was right there. 16-12 going into the second technical timeout. And D'Navigators are looking to push for set number 5.
Humble. Nasa kanya na lahat pero down to earth pa rin si Coach Sam. Idol ko si Coach. Kung hindi ako volleyball player ngayon, siguro teacher na ako.
You can still be a teacher. And why not be a teacher like Coach Sammy there? As Coach Sammy described as humble. I have to agree with that statement there. As a D'Navigators, though, will look to humble this Perpetual side. Barely kept alive there, but they'll take it. And just a drop ball there was good. And Ferrer, since coming in, has made such a big difference here for D'Navigators.
Nag-iba yung mga set plays nila and their tempo when it comes to their attack, giving them the 5-point advantage for this fourth set.
Toto de Pedro. And Narciso with the setup. And still alive here, missing all of the lights here at the venue. And no one was stopping that one as Perpetual finally stopped the bleeding.
Take a look at that set of Narciso, finding Louis Ramirez for that open attack. But now he's in the back row, so everyone in the front row should step up, especially they're down by 4 points.
Villamor. Louis Ramirez with a defensive effort. And they needed other people to score. And why not? Coming from Jeff Marapok.
The next leading scorer for their squad, Jeff Marapok.
So they need more to win in terms of the volume. And that time, D'Navigators spread that just a bit wide. I believe there may be a challenge. That's right, they will challenge it. Ball in, ball out. And I believe that was Mats Gampong who hit that.
Yeah, it was Mats Gampong from the back row. Actually, this is going to be a tricky challenge dahil minsan sa tingin natin outside na, but may konting tama lang yan sa linya, that will be called inside.
So let's see what it's going to be. Again, spoiler free. We're going to let the system show us all what the decision is. And I'm going to tell you right now, I knew this beforehand. Pero ito,
that
ball
was inside.
in.
Right on the line. A good challenge there by Coach Boyet.
Coach Boyet getting the challenge right as the Navigators with a 4-point lead, but still 7 away from claiming the frame. So still a long way to go for them. Guaza on the service line here. Good numbers from a blocking perspective as well. 4 blocks already. Narciso going to the other side. Guaza could barely control it. Desperate stuff here from D'Navigators. Good blocking coming again. We go to the other side, and that time, no stopping Perpetual.
And that was Marapok, the open attack again. They will need more of that. 3 points na lang yung kailangan nilang habulin. DJ Torres was a bit late for that block. Kumahabol lang siya for that cross court.
15 serving 18. And Andrade sends it long. Approaching a 5th set here. Narciso with the setup. And the combination blocking here for D'Navigators just working out.
Yeah, it's been a while na nakakuha sila ng kill blocks. But this time, a much needed point for the Navigators. Take a look at that. Perfect timing by GJ Torres and Mads Gampong.
I believe Torres will be credited for that one. And D'Navigators looking good here towards the end of set number 4. Barely kept alive. Toto de Pedro with the touch. Villamor!
Everything going well here for the side of Iloilo.
And Ramirez will check in here for Perpetual. That's Leo Ramirez. So a couple of Ramirez's. They said they need 2 Ramirez's to get back into this one.
That's Leo Ramirez. So there are 2 Ramirez
Leo
inside
and Louis.
inside the court.
As
for
Ferrer sends
Altas.
that straight to the net. And Arcisa on the service line here. Perpetual not out of this yet, but need to string together some points in quick order.
This is a lot. 5 points. Oh, first
And they'll
service
gladly
ace.
take that. First service ace in set number 1 para sa Perpetual. (21-17). 17 serve 21. Sends it straight to the net after a service ace. So basically pulling one back.
Parang sayang, right?
Yeah.
Nakakuha na siya ng service ace, but yung next naman is a service error. Kaya naman mapapa-time out dito si Coach Sammy Akailar. Let's listen in.
Tayo yung nagkakamali. Yung momentum kasi natin, sinisira nyo. Take your time. Pag nag-service kayo, take your time. Tapos bawi tayo sa block. Pag lumusot sa block, didepensahan natin. Minsan lang kasi hindi naman natin pwedeng gamitin ng power, di ba? Eh, kalaban natin nagsilabasan, no? Patayin nyo mag-drop dun sa gitna or mag-up speed sa gitna. Sometimes babaguhin nyo. Kasi inaabangan kayo.
Kapit. Mali. Hey, you birds!
Trying to calm things down here, sabi ni Coach Sammy. They killed their own momentum, no, ba Perpetual?
Yeah, definitely. And talagang huminto sila na makakuha ng puntos. Kaya dumiretso itong lamang ng Iloilo.
And they'll gladly take that. All of a sudden, it's a 4-point lead here. Still very doable. But again, let's see if the notes are right here. Itong si Leo Ramirez on the service line.
Kakasabi lang ni Coach Sammy kanina ng timeout na whenever you're in the service line, you have to take your time because actually you're allowed there now 8 seconds bago ka mag-serve.
Marapok comes back in. Well, if Perpetual want to steal this in what is looking an unlikely scenario, they need to find a way to be productive with this point. And they do that. Luis Ramirez with the point. Medalla now. A couple of good serves a while ago. Guaza. And the point will go the way of Perpetual. Just pulling that a bit too long. It looks like they're going to challenge this ball in, ball out. And this looks a bit close, at least from our angle. So let's see whether or not the challenge system agrees. They will review this. The block touch is the challenge. So let's see if there is an argument to be made. Remember, the call is for a block touch here. And we are looking through the challenge system right now. And that is not going to change anything here for the D'Navigators.
Yeah, it was far from the blocker. So the point will go to the Altas. Only 3-point advantage meron dito ang Iloilo.
Well, yeah, Perpetual now trailing by 3 as Michael Medalla stands on service line and he hopes to be camped there for the next few points. Guaza with the fake. Toto De Pedro with the finish.
Yeah, we saw that a while ago na din, right? Yung combination ni Nas Guaza and Toto De Pedro. You have to give credit to the set of Ferrer really timing that set kay Guaza, but setting the ball kay Toto De Pedro for that middle attack.
Can I say, grabe yung commitment ni Guaza sa mga fake niya.
Yeah.
And just skewing that just wide. And that means we're going to a set number 5. 25-20 in favor of D'Navigators. And we are in for another good one here. So make sure you don't go away. 25-20, all tied up at 2 sets apiece. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Paco Arena for your Spiker Surf 2023 Invitational Conference. Tied 2 sets all after D'Navigators Iloilo got one against the Perpetual Health System Delta Altas 25-20 in what was a frame that the D'Navigators really took control of, especially towards the latter stages. Unable to really find their form itong Perpetual with trying to get other people involved but unable to get the scoring just right. Tignan muna natin yung mga opponent errors in favor of D'Navigators, 11 points. So that it means that Perpetual were able to give them a lot of free points to deal with despite staying close in terms of yung attacks, even the blocking, saka service ace nga ang Perpetual, but still unable to keep their game clean going into that set number 4, which meant that, okay, ito na tayo, set number 5 between Perpetual and D'Navigators. Let's see whether or not kung makakarga ng D'Navigators ang kanilang momentum going in to set number 5. Now, you can watch the Spiker Surf live and in HD and on demand via Pilipinas Live. Join the action anytime, anywhere, and any device. Download and subscribe now or watch via PilipinasLive.com. Thank you very much for joining us. Ako po si Paulo Del Rosario. Paneng de Schwarter is walking back to our booth at si Ayana Perlas is on the sidelines for us here today. Thank you very much for joining us. Again, both teams at 1-1 dito sa group stage natin. Only 2 teams will advance to the next stage. Kaya napaka-importante ang laban na to, especially considering that it is potential playoff hopes that is up for grabs after this particular game. And set number 5, exactly what Paneng predicted even before this coverage, even before we went on air. And here we have it. Iloilo to get us started. Ramirez, what an exclamation point to start out the frame.
Grabe, nakita mo yung elevation and yung giggle dito ni Louie Ramirez for that attack. I want to see that again. The ball was not that high, but it was a low and fast set for the open kay Louie Ramirez. totally different pace there. Dahil yung mga first 4 sets, puro mga high balls yung binibigay sa kanya.
Napakaganda ng simula ng Perpetual dito as Medalya is feeling the energy. 2-0 para sa Perpetual dito as Narciso is getting ready to hopefully pile on the pressure against the Navigators. Ferrer with the setup and couldn't keep that alive. Itong si Louie Ramirez. I was about to say na yung energy ng Perpetual sa simula made me feel like they were trying to win the game by the emotion. Even sa simula pa lang, like, alam mo yung feeling na warm-up pa lang, panalo na.
And this is going to be a fast set, you know, until 15 lang tayo. So whoever gets the momentum early on and get a lot of lead will have a bigger chance to win this game.
Great coverage here to keep things alive. Talking about Perpetual, but then that one sent just too long. Itong si Lorenzo read that perfectly for D'Navigators and saw that go out.
And Ferrer actually making a lot of difference in the playmaking here for Iloilo, changing the pace of his attackers and activating the middle blockers for their squad.
In a very literal way, game changer itong si Ferrer for D'Navigators. Ramirez, free ball going the other way. The push, wala pa rin. But then it took a soft touch from Perpetual to get that across. Itong si Budo Mateo getting that in.
There was actually a miscommunication there in the combination play.
As long as it works. Michael Medalya on the service line here. 1-point lead para sa Perpetual. Again, race to 15 at this point, so every point feels more and more important. All knotted up again. D'Navigators and Perpetual doing what they've been doing all game long.
Isahan na naman tayo for this set. Now we're tied with 3 points apiece.
Torres para sa D'Navigators. GJ. Blocking working there, pero buhay pa rin dito. They go to Ramirez, and it is still alive here.
Good defense there by the libero.
Both teams showing how desperate they all are. Buhay pa rin dito. The pancake save, keeping it alive. Ferrer with the setup. Gampong with the finish.
A good change of direction there by Mads Gampong, targeting down the line of Perpetual. But you have to give credit to the coverage of both squad. Naakala mo kill block na, but the coverage was there. Natataas pa nila yung bola kahit gaano kababa.
Torres with the serve. Barely got a finger to it. Ang si Andrade, pero buhay pa rin dito. Who do they look for here? They look for Ramirez. Toto De Pedro, defensive effort. Toto De Pedro couldn't get it. And Ramirez shut down by the blocking combination of Guaza and Gampong.
Blocking now of Iloilo, working well for their squad, giving them a 2-point advantage early on to this 5th set.
Hitting the tape there and then just bouncing back ng D'Navigators. Hoping to ride this momentum. Magandang simula ng Perpetual, but then D'Navigators answer back in a big way. Oh, barely getting that through, pero buhay pa rin dito. Don't stop playing is the key here as Ramirez scores off the block.
Nagawan pa niya ng paraan yun, but we're seeing a bit of para medyo may pagod na dito si Louie Ramirez. Dahil kanina pa siya since the first set.
Well, this is has been one of the games where napakadami ng rally eh. Long rallies here. And a lot to try and build on. So you can see on his face just how much effort's being put into this. Ramirez with the serve. Ferrer with the setup. The blocking slowed that down. Who do they look for here?
Oh, too tight. But what an effort there by Marapok. Talagang target ka na lang eh. Pag ganun ka tight yung set or hindi kayo nagkaroon ng connection ng setter mo. But very smart there by targeting zone 1.
Grabe yung hang time, able to get that across. It felt like he was weighing where to put it. Guaza, and Guaza with a quick kill.
Very good connection between Ferrer and Guaza because hindi natin masyado nakikita yung mga quick attacks ni Guaza in the first few sets. But nung pumasok na si Ferrer, doon na niya na-activate or nakuha yung set for Guaza na medyo mataas for the quick.
Gampong on the service line here for D'Navigators. Maropak. Buhay pa rin dito. They go
Tight
back
set.
to him. And that time, just a bit too wide. So D'Navigators now with a 2-point lead. Perpetual trailing.
Timeout called by Coach Sammy Akailar. Let's listen in.
Wala tayong magawa doon eh. Nakapatay ba tayo? Hindi man niya tinatarget doon si pagkalawin mo yung gitna mo para magbago. Nangyari na nagdaga. Tamo si Louie, abang na abang sila eh. Kombinasyon mo, okay? Sige. Dalawa lang yan. Sige, go.
Dalawa lang yan.
Still a lot of work to do here for Perpetual as they are trying to overcome a 2-point lead here for D'Navigators. And with a race to 15, that 2-point lead is a lot bigger than it seems.
That's right. And nakita natin, narinig natin from Coach Sammy na reminding in our season na wag masyadong idikit yung set sa net dahil nahihirapan yung spikers niya maka-adjust and also to activate his middle attackers because that will make a huge difference for this 5th set.
Well, that was much improved there, talking about that particular set. Let's see if they can convert that to a point, though. And that time, the blocking just pushed that a bit wide. 3-point lead here as they go change courts, talking about Perpetual and D'Navigators. But what a contest we have here so far. Magandang simula ng Perpetual, but then D'Navigators answered back with a run of their own.
That's right, and we're seeing a lot of attacks and points coming from Toto De Pedro. Most probably he has the hot hands right now for their squad. But they'll need a lot of points from him and Naz Guaza, especially they're in the front row right now. And Ferrer is having a good connection with his middle attackers.
So a chance here for Mats Gampong to pile on the pressure against Perpetual. Can they get a 4-point lead? That as an emphatic no.
Definitely, that's Marapok, one of their leading scorers. But here a substitution for Coach Asami.
And Narciso checking out.
And Narciso checking out, and Tabuga is inside the court.
Budo Mateo on the service line. Toto De Pedro, that's been a pet play of them. That fake coming from Guaza and Toto De Pedro coming out.
They already did that 3 times. That was the 3rd time. It's the 3rd successful one for Toto De Pedro. Ibig sabihin, sobrang ganda nung approach ni Naz Guaza.
Again, fakes everyone out, even my partner. And now it is D'Navigators feeling great about themselves, erecting a 4-point lead, 10-6, timeout on the floor. Let's check in. 10-6 in favor of D'Navigators as Perpetual struggling to survive here. Again, kailangan sabihin ulit, magandang simula ng Perpetual dito sa set number 5, but then D'Navigators just found an extra boost here in this final frame. Toto De Pedro to serve.
I think it was the first 2 points na maganda yung simula nitong Perpetual. Pero nakakuha sila ng mga unforced errors, not until ito naman si Ferrer. Ang dami niyang sinaset na bola sa kanyang mga attackers, especially kay Toto De Pedro. And Naz Guaza doing great with that fake approach.
Chance here to trim this lead down to 2. Running attack. Buhay pa rin dito. Marapok unable to score there. Toto De Pedro did not have enough elevation.
Only 2 points advantage na lang meron dito ang Iloilo. A very slim advantage if you're thinking, because this is the 5th set.
Who did they look for here? Villamor, but then Medalla and Tabuga both come together and shut it down.
Take a look at this block. Sobrang sakto yung cross-court. Nakuha niya yung cross-court na yun ni Villamor. Getting their 9th point of the game. Kaya napatawag dito ng timeout si Coach Boyet.
Kayo, naintindihan, dalawa lang spike di ba? Kayang-kaya na ni dito, Kobe. Subukan mo ganyan, gawin mo dito.
Tara. Nabi, go! Compose sakay.
All of a sudden, it's a 1-point lead. It felt a while ago that Perpetual did not have any answers for D'Navigators. And all of a sudden, how the momentum shifts.
I think Iloilo was up by at least 4 points for this 5th set. And now, 1 point na lang yung inaalagaan nila. A very dangerous situation for their squad.
And the service error. Well, I'm not saying that it has been, that's fatal already for Perpetual. But they are, the momentum that they built officially halted.
Yun yung timing ng error mo, right? Kayo yung naghahabol ngayon. Tapos now, another 2-point advantage for Iloilo with Naz Guaza serving.
Double digits already for Naz Guaza, and that is an error answered with another error. Jeff Marapok on the service line here. Good performance for Marapok in this game so far. Already in double-digit scoring. Has been a deputy here to Luis Ramirez in terms of offensive production. A safe serve. Almost a clever finish, but then nothing stopping Luis Ramirez on that one.
A good anticipation on the defense there by Mateo. Dahil almost a point there on the 1-2 play by Ferrer, but he was able to get that drop ball. And naset pa nila kay Luis Ramirez, their top scorer, who is already on the front row.
Again, a safe, conservative serve. Torres, not there. From the back. Villamor. Can they keep this alive? Barely. And they do save it. Villamor again.
Whoa! What a play!
There will be a challenge here for a net touch. But then what an effort from Perpetual.
Definitely, what an effort. That might be a game changer for their squad, because that will definitely boost their momentum. But a challenge here called by the coaches of the Altas. There was a net touch violation committed by the Altas.
So they are checking whether or not the net touch happened before or after the ball was
landed.
scored.
Ang bilis ng balik ng bola coming off from that block.
So they are checking that right now. This is a crucial decision here. It is for the lead. 11 and 11. D'Navigators against Perpetual. And the the challenge system right beside us, hard at work. And I'm telling you right now, I can see the video and I can tell.
The point will go to the Altas, so that will give them a 1-point advantage, if I'm not mistaken.
So they're going through that, and yes, a 1-point advantage. And they are going to show the replay here. So take a look at this. The ball had landed by the time the net touch occurred.
Oh.
So the point will go the way of Perpetual, and Perpetual now lead 12 to 11. So may net touch nga pero yung timing wasn't there.
Yun nga yung pinaglalaban din ng mga players ng Iloilo, but we saw it from the replay. Dahil ang bilis ng bagsak ng bola doon.
Again, what an effort play that last play was.
That was Louie Ramirez who chased for that ball. And a cover by Marapok on the back row. At sobrang layo niya. Nahabol pa niya yung bola na yun. And Marapok was able to send that over.
Well, that's why you keep on playing. Now the question is, can Perpetual build on that momentum? Jeff Marapok, great game so far from him individually. Sends that straight to the net. And we are all knotted up at 12.
Full front row here for the Altas. They have Louie Ramirez. They have Medalla and also Tabuga in the front row. Tabuga was the one who got that kill block.
Ferrer with the serve. He was such a game changer when he came in. Off the blockers and onto the referee. He's practically an antenna. As right now, 13 to 12 in favor of Perpetual.
And now Narciso is back on the court. A good game that we saw from Tabuga.
Again, Perpetual trying to put D'Navigators away. They had to climb up from a deficit here in set number 5. But then what an answer coming from Mads Gampong. And we're all tied up at 13 apiece. At this rate, the score might go up as if it were a regular set.
But this is a very tight 5th set. Parang ganito na, since the first set, right? Palagi lang silang isahan and mag-aabot sa puntos.
Oh, and what a finish coming from Louie Ramirez. Here to end or one more to extend. 14-13, timeout called on the floor.
Siguraduhan sila. Bantayan nyo na yun. Di pa tapos? Di pa tapos. Sayang, tangina, tumama na sa akin. Isa lang. Kapit lang. Di pa tapos. Go ah. Pasap. Di pa tapos, no. Go for juice, go. Go for juice. Hey, Gabi! Go!
Well, it ain't over till it's over. And based on what we've experienced here so far, Paneng, it doesn't look like it's going to be over anytime soon.
I don't think so too, but we'll see.
But we will see.
The Navigators needs to have a good first ball, but we saw a couple of service errors on the side of Iloilo naman.
Match point here for Perpetual. Medalla in charge of the delivery here. He needs to get it across first and foremost. Let's see what they can do.
A good first ball.
And Gampong extends it. 14 all.
Lahat ng mga combination plays itong Iloilo, walang sagot. ang Perpetual. Nahihirapan sila basahin yung blockings.
Chance here for D'Navigators to put up the pressure. But then they put in their service specialist. Ito si Janelia Adao.
Serve and defense specialist for sure.
And Narciso with the setup, and nothing Adao could do about that one as Ramirez hit that with venom.
Well, that attack will send their team to match point.
Yet again. Luis Ramirez, 2 aces in the game already. Now on the service line for Perpetual, their top scorer.
Sure serve from Luis Ramirez. And a
the
block!
And there, it goes wide. So the point still goes the way of D'Navigators. But they are going to check for ball in, ball out. From our point of view, Paneng, it looked like it was contentious.
Yeah. And we saw sa previous sets that whenever they call for a ball in, ball out challenge, it was very critical dahil kahit nasa tingin mo outside siya, pero pag tumama sa linya, they will call it an inside ball.
So they're going to show this in just a bit. I already see the replay beside us. So the Altas challenging this, and we are pleased to say we still have more volleyball to play.
That was way outside, and it's unsuccessful challenge for the coaches of the Altas, and we are extended 15 all for this 5th set.
Tingnan natin kung abot tayo ng 25.
For sure, both squads hindi aayaw because both of them would want to get this win.
That's Gampong. And Narciso going to the other side. Guaza! Now it's D'Navigators' turn to try and put Perpetual away.
Ferrer is in the front row, but 2 of their leading scorers is also in the front row, talking about Naz Guaza and Toto De Pedro. Better first ball.
They go to Ramirez, and we go to another extended point here, 16 all.
Ramirez was the one who got the first ball, but still, Narciso sets the ball to him in the back row. 16 all for this 5th set.
Budo Mateo on the service line. Again, another safe serve there. Guaza.
Oh!
Guaza has been coming up big here in set number 5.
Definitely. Mapa-strong attack man yan or drop ball. Point converted by Naz Guaza and a clear miscommunication in the defense between the libero and setter of Perpetual.
Can they be lethal here? Talking about Toto De Pedro and the rest of D'Navigators. Match point. And Narciso, the setup off the block. Marupok getting that one to go.
Definitely Marupok also stepping up for the side of the Altas. So we're seeing a lot of open and back row attacks here for their squad.
Again, yung hinihingi ni Paneng de Conasuardo is 25. Let's see how far they can take it or who can end it. Villamor. And Guaza's ability to draw the blockers has been such a weapon here for D'Navigators.
Always effective ito si Naz Guaza. Hindi man siya binibigyan ng bola, but yung tulong niya sa kanyang mga spikers whenever he goes for that approach. Fake approach na nga. Always effective.
Well, speaking of Guaza, now on the service line here, very crucial points here. Dito sa set number 5 from Guaza. Let's see if he can deliver from the service line. And Narciso with the setup. Ramirez from the back.
That's
and
inside.
It will go the way of Perpetual. Ramirez scoring when they need to. So a couple. So Lorenzo checks back in as we go to Jeff Marapok to serve here for Perpetual. Villamor. And they have to try and save another set point, talking about Perpetual.
Grabe yung elevation ni Villamor. Talagang pinipilit niya paluin on top of his blockers. Yun yung mga mahirap depensahan.
Can this be it for D'Navigators? Ferrer, a game changer in set number 4 in particular. And Ramirez says, let's go one more.
Not yet over, said Louie Ramirez. For sure, dahil siya yung nasa front row, so siya yung may mataas na porsyento for their side.
And we're not done here yet. As Perpetual, can they get back to match point first and foremost? Torres, blocked there. They're chasing. Can they get it?
Good save again.
The effort plays are still counting. Torres couldn't get that through. Villamor with the coverage. Villamor again. And when they put in the extra effort, Perpetual find a way to score.
They did that a while ago with Ramirez and Marapok, and this time it's between Mateo and Marapok for the back row. Grabe yung effort na nakikita natin dito for the side of the Altas. And whenever they push themselves to save the ball, it always turns out successful for their squad, and they always finish it with a good block.
Sabi ni Coach Sammy, take your time with the serves. And what a reply here from D'Navigators once again. No one letting go.
Walang gustong bumitaw dito. But indeed, this is a very important game for both of the squads. We talked about it as early as the pre-game that this is a must-win game for them.
I don't think either of these teams realizes na race to 15 to. Kasi nasa 2020 na tayo.
Oh!
And an error there and a chance here for D'Navigators to finally put this to bed.
That was a mistimed kill there by Mateo. But how will the Perpetual Altas respond to that error? Because this point is a very important point for them.
Kylo Villamor with the serve. Buhay pa rin dito. No one letting go. Bodies on the floor. They go to Ramirez. Off the block. Buhay pa rin. Lorenzo saved it. Toto de Pedro. We still go. Toto. Battle at the net. Can the D'Navigators end it? Not yet. Mateo with the setup to Ramirez. And Perpetual say, no, 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 we're not done yet.
Sobrang hirap makakuha ng 2 points consecutive for this set for the both squads because talaga all out sila.
Andrade coming back in for Lithuania. And as our officials have a word with Louie Ramirez. So what would it take for a team to get 2 points straight? We're gonna find out sooner rather than later, or perhaps much later. Medalla on the service line here for Perps. Torres. What a save from Narciso. The high set. And a lapse of concentration there means that the D'Navigators are on match point yet again.
I think that was the first unforced error that we've seen for this set.
It really feels that right now it isn't just a battle of attrition physically, but mentally as well.
Mentally, that's true. Now GJ Torres needs to send that ball over. Good first ball.
And Narciso looking for Ramirez.
We're tied at 22 for the 5th set.
If only you could see the face of my partner as she has said that last statement. Louis Ramirez trying to end it here. One of the most lethal servers in Spiker's turf. Guaza with the fake Toto de Pedro. They finally found the counter to it so far. Ramirez!
That was the only time that the Altas was able to defend that combination attack of the Navigators Iloilo. And what a finish by Louis Ramirez on the back row. So now the Altas should focus on their blockings because the Iloilo has a good first ball. And nadadala nila kagad kay Ferrer. And they are very, very capable to have another set play.
Louis Ramirez with the serve. Again, very conservative serving so far. Off the block, and there you have it! Perpetual finally put things to bed in a wild, wild set number 5, 24-22. Perpetual take the win in what feels like an eternity.
That's right, and like what I said, they need to focus on their blocking and right on cue with that kill block on Mads Gampong on the opposite attack. That was Jeff Marapok with a one-on-one block and no coverage for the side of the Navigators Iloilo. What an effort for both squads.
What an ending. What a battle between these two. 1-1 right before all of this. And you take a look at the scores. There is no typo. That really is 24-22 in set number 5 in what has been one of the wildest finishes we've seen here on Spiker's turf this conference. What a finish, and it was a pleasure to call that for you. Of course, we have so much more to talk about here before we let everything go. So don't go away. We'll be right back.
The Spiker's Turf Invitational Conference 2023, and what an amazing and thrilling 5-setter that was of the Perpetual Altas going against the Iloilo D'Navigators. And of course, joining me now is the best player of the game, Louis Ramirez of the Altas. Hello, Louis. Congratulations. Louis, grabe, 38 points, 35 attacks, 2 aces, and 1 block. Grabe yung performance mo in today's game. Congratulations. Now, Louis, alam naman natin that coming to this game, meron mga bagong plays na ginamit ni Coach for you today para hindi ka maging masyadong predictable. So, kamusta naman yung experience sa mga bagong plays na yun?
Siguro, in-execute lang namin yung ginawa namin sa training. Madami yung binagong play ni Coach Sam, pero yun nga, this time nagamit namin sa crucial game po.
Kamusta naman yung paggamit nyo yun sa crucial game?
Yun po, na-execute namin na maayos kahit na pangatlo pa namin ginagamit sa training. Then yun, na-execute namin na maayos sa game po.
That's good to hear, Louis. Now, of course, my last question for you is, ano na yung mindset ng team nyo coming from this game? Ano mga natutunan nyo from this game na pwede nyo i-apply sa next games to come?
Siguro unang-una yung pagiging relax namin kasi sobrang relax kami sa game kanina, tsaka yung pagiging oneness namin kasi nga naglalapse yung iba naming teammate, parang nawawala sa focus, tsaka yun lang.
Thank you so much, Louie, and congratulations on that amazing performance. Once again, this is Louie Ramirez, our best player of the game with the Perpetual Altas. Back to you, Paolo and Panay.
Thank you very much, Ayana. It feels like we were actually wondering, bakit hindi nga na 25? Nahiya pa, 24 to 22 ang final set. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from that crazy set number 5. It felt like it wasn't just like both teams were exchanging errors, Panay. These teams were exchanging high-quality looks in terms of today's matchup. And honestly, one of the best fifth sets we've seen in a while.
That's right. And like what I mentioned a while ago during the fifth set, na para ang hirap makakuha ng 2 consecutive points. But it was actually possible dahil lumaki na yung lamang ng D'Navigators Iloilo earlier on that fifth set. But humabol itong Perpetual hanggang sa isahan na lang sila. Umabot tayo na 24 to 22. And we said that nag-focus sa net defense itong Perpetual na nahirapan na yung coverage ng D'Navigators Iloilo. And let's take a look at the numbers of that set 5. 16 attack points of Perpetual with 5 kill blocks against 1 ng Iloilo. No service ace for both squads, but actually, Perpetual had more errors for that set. 10 errors against 2 ng Iloilo. But I think yung naging importante for their squad and nakatulong talaga is yung blocking nila sa latter part of their set. And a big step up kay Louie Ramirez, who scored a lot of points for their squad. Mapa front row man siya or back row. Whenever they need him, he will always get the point and he will always go for that finish.
The back row, the blocking, the things just worked out here for Perpetual later on as we see the numbers here. At grabe, imagine mo, these were the numbers for a fifth set. It felt like it were a regular set.
Yeah, it was.
Now we're not done yet. It's we're a bit delayed for a 3 o'clock first serve. In fact, we are 54 minutes delayed, pero okay lang yan. We have Suskin PCU Dasma going up against the VNS, followed by the Coast Guard against Signal HD Spikers. A lot more volleyball here at the Paco Arena Events and Sports Center. We hope to see you here either at the venue or join us on Pilipinas Live. Once again, for my partner, Padeng de Schwarter, ako po si Paulo Del Rosario, our courtside reporter was Ayana Perlas. Thank you very much for joining us in what was a very eventful 5-setter here, and we'll see you again for the next one.